Hey guys, I just wanted to give an update on Facebook for all of my friends because I've tried to text people individually and folks had so many questions and so many of the same questions that I thought it would be better to do a video and especially a live stream and hopefully get those questions answered. So for those of you who don't know, Rick was just diagnosed with COVID or the coronavirus. He is the second case here in Davidson County, the 8th case in Tennessee. For those of you who are gasping and shocked, Rick goes to work and he goes to school. Now, he does work in hospitality, but we have no reason to believe he could have come in contact with it in any other way. I haven't traveled since the middle of February. And so today we spoke with the epidemiologist at the Metro Health Department, who was awesome. Hey, Josh, what's up? You're going to be able to get any job you want after living through this epidemic. Anyway, they have been awesome just to give us, the best advice that they have at the moment and saying that they're going to keep us updated. He's not in the hospital. We're not being quarantined in some random place. We are being quarantined at home. And right now, while you may have seen 2 weeks as the estimate, they really can't tell us how long it might be. They told me to go get tested today, so I went to do that, and I'll tell you more about that in just a bit. But they have basically said they will monitor until he is feeling better and isn't showing symptoms and is testing negative. And then after that, it's kind of a wait and see. So even those suggestions or those recommendations are changing as this thing progresses. So one of my friends today said that you're the first real person I know who's dealing with this, which is what brought me to come and chat with you guys here. And so I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. I'm not monitoring chat just yet, so give me a minute for that. So the test, I will tell you, was not available really until recently. And folks at the clinic just told me that everybody's coming in to get tested because everybody's afraid that they have it. Honestly, folks, you're better off staying home. Don't touch people. If you are contagious, it doesn't matter if you think you have this or not. Don't go spread your cooties. Nobody wants your cooties. And the benefits of getting tested really are just that it's confirmed. There's no treatment available. They're going to treat the symptoms just like any other virus. And so they prescribed, a cough syrup, some things just kind of make you more comfortable, and a whole lot of home remedies that you would do if you were home with the cold or flu anyway. So I did want to talk a little bit about one of the biggest questions that folks had was what were the symptoms and how was this presented? And I think that is what's most shocking for us. Rick was really presenting with traditional flu symptoms. He was having fever and chills and night sweats and a little bit of a cough. And the cough was pretty nagging and bothersome, but it was, and he was given a flu test 3 times before they administered this coronavirus test. So that is pretty interesting. Folks have asked if I'm okay. Some of you know I've been not feeling well for a couple days. It started with just some drainage and sinus and allergy kinds of stuff, which is just typical for this time of year. But by Saturday, just a few days ago, I was out of commission for the whole day. I just kind of lounged on the couch and felt pitiful and looked pitiful. But other than just feeling a little run down, I was pretty much back to normal by Sunday. It's also interesting that I religiously get the flu shot, and I had the flu shot. And so that was also one of the reasons we were convinced that maybe it was just the traditional flu, and that's why Rick's was so blown out of proportion, because he did not get his flu test this season, his flu shot this season. But anyway, so those were the symptoms. What we noticed and why it was what prompted him to go to a different clinic and get further testing and kind of be insistent is that he wasn't getting any better. So he started getting sick last Wednesday on March 4th. It might have been actually March 5th on Thursday. And he was and is still having fever and chills and all of those things. So he was feeling a little bit better earlier this week. We got out and did some IV hydration and actually he was thinking he was on the mend, and then the fever hit again. It was just kind of this roller coaster of a fever that was around 101, 102. That would break, and then it would just come back. So that is what has been going on here. Goodness, what other questions do folks have? Hold on, let me consult my notes. Yeah, so they did chest x-rays of him and everything was all clear. So if you've read some of the scary stuff about this virus and what it can look like, that's not expected. He seems to be, on the mend and getting better. They listened to my chest. Everything sounds good there, so that's good. Just like any other virus, it really does have to run its course, and the paperwork that they gave us says to expect around 14 days or so, and that anything that might last after that may just be lingering allergy issues and other things of that nature. The test. Yes, let's tell you about the test. Unless you have been exposed and you have a reason to be tested, or someone tells you to go get tested, my friends, you do not want this test. I promise. They take a cotton swab up your nose almost to your brain, and they rub it around like this on each side, and then they ram one down your throat and they wiggle it all around. And it was not pleasant, and I'm a pretty tough cookie. It brought me to tears, and then I had a nosebleed and could not get that under control. So I'm telling you, if you are just a hypochondriac and think that you need to be tested because you just want to know if you have it, you do not want to go get tested just because. I promise you don't. So make sure that you leave that for other. Thanks, Mary Lee. She just joined at the 2-minute mark. Rick was tested yesterday afternoon, and they called us first thing this morning. And so I expect to hear back also about my testing tomorrow. The doctor said they send it away somewhere, but she doesn't know even what that test looks like. The last that I was reading about it, I thought they were like doing a microscope check. So I think they figured out a different way around that now to do some testing in higher volume. I'll scroll through here and see if I can see anything else. Yeah, we just don't really have any idea about how he contracted it. Like I said, he works in hospitality, and he's been in contact with work, and they've been awesome. That's the best we can come up with. Like I said, Rick goes to work, he goes to school, and he comes home. He has not traveled out of the area in over a year, so he hasn't been on an airplane or anything else like that. For those who didn't catch it, yes, we're being quarantined. We don't know for how long. Hey, Martin. Hey, Mary Liz. They basically told us to plan on 2 weeks. And then they're just going to keep a check and keep a monitor on the situation. So what they were telling us this morning is if I test negative, then actually I might still be quarantined longer, because they're going to still wait until Rick tests negative before giving the all clear, and they're going to want to watch me for that incubation period of 14 days or something. So, for folks who are saying that, yes, we were the folks who were saying, oh, we're healthy, there's nothing to worry about, and it is certainly not not something to take lightly, considering the incubation period, and for folks canceling trips and things like that, just know that it can still be something that you could be exposed to without even knowing it. And so the kinds of things that they are recommending, what did they recommend for the kiddos? So the kinds of stuff, I'll go down through some of these, the tips that they had for us. You guys have already heard about sharing, cleaning your hands. Don't share towels. Don't share a bathroom. If somebody in the household is sick, they suggest really trying to isolate folks into a different room and having minimal contact just in case. And this makes good sense with any kind of illness, so totally understandable. Keeping all the surfaces clean and just frequently wiping down any surfaces in your home, and doorknobs and all those other kinds of things. And then don't share household items. It should go without saying, don't share anybody's toothbrush, but don't share dishes, drinking glasses, cups, silverware, towels, bedding, and wash those items. You need to wash them on hot, and make sure that you are keeping everything really clean, which can be hard if you feel shitty. And I can promise that has been the least thing that I wanted to do, but I was down here scrubbing the floors the night before last downstairs, and have been washing everything. So the other kinds of things, wearing the face mask is good if you have symptoms, to keep from getting your juices on anybody else. So the way this is transmitted is sneezing, coughing, any kind of droplets that are going to get on folks. And what they say about contact is really close contact within like 6 feet for longer than 10 minutes is the latest that I was reading about the contact stuff. So make sure you're covering your face when you sneeze. They asked when I came in to get tested that I wore the face mask, you know, and then they took me right into a separate room, and they came in full, you know, paper gown, all that kind of stuff, and really treated it like the plague. So that was kind of weird. I've never had anything that was this concerning. I've never had to be tested for anything like this, and so it was just a little off-putting. And you can see how quickly people can get nervous or upset when, you know, they're when people are coming in covered in all of the protective gear and stuff. Luckily, the doctor who we're working with was very kind and considerate, even of the wait time. So okay, let me get back to some of the things that they tell you to do, because I've seen a lot of tip sheets around, and I know a lot of the hospitals are putting out great information, so definitely listen to your healthcare providers. They're going to know best. But the things that they have said: stay hydrated, drink lots of water. I just read something from one of the hospitals that said, you know, you're going to wash down anything that you might get exposed to if you are frequently drinking water, which is just good for us all anyway, especially our complexion. So you can inhale steam. We've had really good luck using Vick's Vapor Rub. That old time remedy of putting it on your feet actually helped not only with the coughing, but it actually helped just in general. I started doing it even during the daytime when I was still just kind of feeling a little puny, and it really did seem to help. So they suggest you can do that on your chest, and you can even add some of the Vicks or even eucalyptus oil or something like that into boiled water and put your face over it with a towel over it. Cough drops or lozenges are super helpful for the irritated throat. I was just telling somebody yesterday that I had cough drops. We had some video conferences and things like that, and I had cough drops in my mouth, and as long as the cough drops were there, I didn't have a tickle in my throat, and that's really what it's felt like for me. A pretty aggravating tickle in my throat. So Mucinex plain is a mucus thinner, and that's something that's really good for helping just keep all of that snot moving. Gargling with salt water. You can elevate your if anybody has sinus and allergy issues, you may do a lot of these things anyway. And so just avoid any kind of dust, perfumes, pollutants, things that can further aggravate your upper respiratory issues. Honey is a cough suppressant. Ginger tea is good. Eucalyptus oil, mint, menthol, licorice root, slippery elm. I found that throat coat tea is really, really good. I actually have a cup of it sitting over here. It's been very soothing and helpful. So apple cider vinegar, chicken soup, elderberry syrup, vitamin C, and emergency. Jen, if you see this, or if you're still watching, you'll know that the emergency is good stuff. So make sure that you are taking all your vitamin C. Anyway, those are the things that they're recommending to just maintain, just to help soothe the symptoms. And I think that would apply for anyone. There's nothing on here that wouldn't be okay for children, maybe some of the oils for little tiny babies. But, you know, again, washing your hands, really staying away from people. And if you're feeling unwell, and we were doing this, we were really trying to stay away from folks in general anyway, but you still come across people every day. So just be hyper aware of that. I'll do a quick check and see what other questions folks maybe had. Yep. Thank you. Thanks, Amber. We've got some Clorox wipes here too. We're using those. Awesome. Okay, if anybody else has any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them, and we'll keep you posted as we hear more from the folks at the health department. Like I said, the epidemiologist has been great. It was kind of cool to talk with one, because that's one of those careers you don't really think about real people doing, even though you learned about it in school. So it was pretty neat to talk with him, and we'll just keep you guys posted. We appreciate all the good wishes. This is, you know, it's just been something that I think is just blown our minds. We were like, okay, this is just so weird. Someone asked Rick earlier if they thought he was being punked, and he's like, this would be a really sick joke. So, this test was confirmed at an actual medical clinic in a center that is well known for treating folks. So this was confirmed by Vanderbilt. I'll just encourage you guys to go back and watch the video to get the whole update on it. If folks want to stay on, I'm happy to kind of recap some of the highlights. I see a few folks just joined. Rick was just diagnosed with the COVID-19, which everyone's just referring to as the coronavirus, and got the news this morning. He was tested yesterday after 3 flu tests came back negative, and he'd been sick for about a week, just having fever, chills, night sweats, fatigue, and body aches. So stuff that was presenting really a lot like the regular flu. And as I mentioned before, he didn't have the flu shot this season. And so, that's really what we thought it was. I was having some milder symptoms, so they did encourage me to go get tested, in addition to just being in close proximity with him since we live together. So that is the current status of things. And I think that, so far the question has been, how sick is Rick? Rick will tell you he thinks he's dying. He's not dying. He is sick. He's been running a fever. He feels really crappy. But his symptoms are still presenting just like somebody who had the flu. So he feels really crappy, and he's been running that fever, which was concerning to us because it just wouldn't seem to go away. It just kept coming back. And that was the concerning part. So I've had much milder symptoms. I felt really crappy on Saturday. Truly napped all day long, but then by Sunday was feeling, much more normal, and was able to kind of get up and move around. Mild headache. My nose is hurting right now from them jamming those things up my nose. So that's not been very pleasant. So before that, I was just kind of still feeling a little bit of malaise, a little bit of tiredness, and still do have some irritation in my throat. The cough was not really productive until several days in, and even then it was just randomly productive. So, but it was nothing like would indicate a sinus infection or something like that. I won't get into too much detail about my mucus, but if you want details, you can feel free to shoot me a text or a private message. Anyway, that has all really gone away. It's just a little bit of a nagging, irritating cough. And like I said, my chest sounds good. Rick's chest x-ray was good, so there's no reason to think that anything is progressing. He is healthy. Someone asked me if he had any, risk factors or other conditions. No, we're both healthy. I did see some stuff in the news earlier where folks were talking about the ages of people, and I didn't know that was even a thing, that folks were concerned about the ages. I just turned 41. Rick's about to turn 45, and so I guess that has been a bit of a surprise, at least for some of the cases that are here. So that's just an FYI. Let's see what else. I will say, that he's been not feeling well because Willie's been sticking really close to him, and I am Willie's person, so we thought it was weird that Willie was going to sit with him. Okay, I promise that I will update you guys when we know more. I'm happy to answer any questions again, but just like I did with this, I will probably just hold some of them until I can come back on and address several of them. I was getting fatigued with typing the same answers all the time and did not want to start a huge thread of text messages or anything like that, because that would also drive folks crazy. So I'll come back and add anything else that I might be able to do. Hey, Kim, thanks for joining. We don't know exactly. Just 2 weeks is what we are planning on, but it could be longer than that. We'll know more once we get my testing back. So a couple of folks wanted to know if they should be worried if they came in contact with us. We told them everywhere we went, including I had gone to physical therapy the other day. I'd gone to the dermatologist, and they weren't really concerned. They didn't ask for any additional details or information about that. So I know we popped by a neighborhood gathering the other night to grab some food. Unless you touched anybody's body fluids or you were up in Rick's face, which would be very hard for most of you since he's almost 7 feet tall, you really shouldn't have anything to worry about. But I will tell you, just again, you never know how you might have come across it. So make sure that, you know, you are washing your hands, you're being hyper vigilant about the hand sanitizer, and really just staying kind of away from people. I've seen some folks really recommending, you know, that they're like, how do I avoid handshaking? And right now, I think you just call it and say, hey guys, let's not spread cooties. You know, appreciate you. Like do an elbow bump or something. I don't know, but you shouldn't have any concerns about that. Again, if that changes, we'll absolutely let you know, and let you know that we'll absolutely let you know if they give us any other information. And my guess is they've been very interesting in the news. Literally moments after we got the call from the doctor, Rick saw himself in a headline in the paper that was like, you know, second person in Davidson County was confirmed. So if you can see this, if you see that, just know that that's him. I've been calling him 8.2 or 8-2 because he's the 8th case in Tennessee, the second one in Davidson County. So, you know, he's like almost a celebrity. This will be his 10 minutes of fame. I asked him if he wanted to do this video with me, and he said he did not. And he also said I wasn't going to do it. So you guys can see that he is chiming in down there. And so he is not on his deathbed. His fingers still work. But I will give you guys an update. Sorry to keep repeating that, but as soon as we know more, we'll share that with you. And you guys just stay safe, stay home if you can. If you're somebody who has the luxury like I do, well, I work from home all the time, but if you can stay home, you know, it's better safe than sorry. I know a lot of folks are closing down and people are feeling very inconvenienced. I was one of them to complain, saying I can't believe that they're doing this, and I get it, and it's mostly just because things are spreading so quickly, and there's not you know, the first thing the doctor said this morning is there's not a cure. Well, there's not a cure for a lot of things that we get. So, you know, that can sound very scary for folks to hear that. So don't worry. This is a virus and it can run its course. So again, if you're someone who has a compromised immune system anyway, somebody who has other risk factors that could make it hard for them to get over it, asthma might be one of those. Kirsty, stay away from people. Don't let it get anybody's cooties. Then it's really important for you to take extra care and make sure that you are, you know, are staying safe, because it could be detrimental for you. It could be harder to get over it. So not just the little tiny children and older people, but anybody who may have, you know, issues with the chest or in their any other coexisting conditions, what's it called? For other conditions that might make you have a weakened immune system. So just keep a check out for that. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I will post this to my page. I have not made it public. I didn't want, I don't know, the public health police or somebody to come over. If there's some reason you're wanting to share it with someone, I'm happy to work with you on that. I might do the next one public. We'll see. Thank you, Mary Lee. Yes, comorbidities. That's what I was going to say, and then it didn't seem right. So I will consider putting it public, but again, I don't want to cause any kind of hysteria here, but with all of my friends and family, and give you guys an update directly, because this really was the easiest way. So thank you guys. I've been getting calls this whole time, so I'm going to sign off, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, guys. Bye.